Hare Krishna, dear devotees, Danut Pranams. Thank you very much for joining in for our Ramayana study session. We'll start with the prayers. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuddha Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha Namo Vishnu Padhaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta स्वामीनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे गुरवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरून् दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यमीश्वरम् हरि ओम tatsat. Hare Krishna. So we are now on the last days of the war, where Kumbhakarna has also been defeated in the battle. Kumbhakarna is killed. Now Ravana sends his dearest son Indrajit. Indrajit, he got the name Indrajit because he is also defeated Indra. So such an Indrajit is now being sent by Ravan to fight with Rama, Lakshmana, Hanuman and Sugriva. So let us continue with our study of Ramayana on the last stages of Yuddha Kand. So we hope to complete by 20th of August, we will complete Ramayana. And on 21st of August, we will start Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita study. So this is in between Janmashtami and Radhashtami, which occurs on 31st of August. So we would like to start Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita for the pleasure of Guru and Gauranga. So now let's continue with this last section of Yuddha Kand, where Indrajit is being sent by Ravana to fight with Rama, Lakshmana, Sugriva, Angada and all the Vanarasenas. Indrajit then sought out Rama and Lakshmana, covering them with torrents of arrows, not minding the arrows any more than a mountain would mind a shower of rain. Rama said to his brother, "This demon Indrajit has engaged the invincible weapon of Brahma. Behold, our entire army has been virtually overpowered. We too will have to succumb to Brahma's weapon, I fear." Rama knew that no being in the universe could resist the Brahmastra except by invoking the same weapon to counter it. But the meeting of the two Brahmastras was highly dangerous. It could bring about the destruction of the whole cosmos and would likely cause the death of millions of innocent creatures. Rama did not want that to happen. He and Lakshman sent hundreds and thousands of powerful shafts towards the Rakshasa, but Indrajit shrugged off their arrows and continued aiming his weapons at the two brothers. The demon again and again recited the incantations sacred to Brahma and sent fierce arrows at Rama and Lakshmana. The princes were completely covered by Indrajit's arrows. They bled all over and appeared like a couple of Kinshuka trees covered in red blossoms. Grievously wounded by Indrajit's assault, they both fell to the ground and dropped their bows. So Indrajit is very, very powerful. Why? Because he's also defeated Indra. Only that he's on the wrong side. Otherwise, he's very, very powerful. He's capable of defeating Indra. He's capable of defeating all the Maharathis. But because being situated on the adharmic side, ultimately the victory will be on the side the Lord is. The victory will be on the side of Dharma. So let's see how the battle ensues between Indrajit and Lord Rama and Lakshmana. Indrajit set up a cry of victory. He considered Rama and Lakshmana dead. This is the greatest illusion that you can defeat the Supreme Lord. Tears fell from Hanuman's eyes as he gazed at the unconscious brothers. They appeared to be severely wounded. Placing his hand on Hanuman's shoulder, Vibhishana reassured him gently. Do not give way to despondency, my valiant friend. Jambavan had first inquired after Hanuman rather than Rama and Lakshmana. He called Hanuman over, and the monkey came quickly and knelt before Hanuman. Mustering his strength, the old bear began to speak. My dear Hanuman, it is you alone who can save this army. Only you possess the power to fly from here to the Himalayas. You must go there at once to fetch the celestial healing herbs. Jambavan explained that there was a mountain standing near Mount Kailash on which grew 4 precious herbs placed there by the gods themselves. Jambavan described the 4 plants. First, there is Sanjeeva Karani, capable of bringing a dead person back to life. Then you must find Vishalya Karani, which can completely heal all weapon wounds. The other 2 herbs are Sandani and Suvarna Karani, which together can restore a broken body back to its pristine state. They all grow together atop this mountain. O Hanuman, leave at once and bring them here. Hanuman immediately stood up. He bounded across to the Trikuta mountain, then quickly climbed to its summit. From there, he leapt over to the Malaya mountain on Lanka's coast. Hanuman came down upon the mountain and began to search after the 4 herbs Jambavan had described. As he moved around the bush foliage, however, the herbs, perceiving that someone had come to take them, hid themselves from view. Only the gods were able to use those divine medicines. No one else could find them. Hanuman plunged his hands into the side of the mountain and broke off the entire section containing all the herbs. Lifting the huge mountain summit above his head, the monkey sprang into the air. Hanuman descended near the Trikuta and set down the celestial hill of herbs. Vibhishana rushed over and embraced the monkey. The Rakshasa then set about finding the medicinal herbs, perceiving them by virtue of his occult vision. Taking a handful of the herbs from Vibhishana, Hanuman went quickly to Rama and Lakshmana. Both he and Vibhishana looked anxiously at the 2 princes who were actually lying unconscious. Yeah, so Rama and Lakshmana were wounded by the arrows of who? Indrajit. So Indrajit had the capacity to even put Rama and Lakshmana into unconsciousness. He had so much of power. Yeah, but Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, Yad Yad Vibhuti Matsatvam Shrimat Urjitam Evava Tatat Eva Vagachatvam Mama Tejo Amsa Sambhavam. So if someone has got very wonderful powers, then we should also understand that this power is also coming from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And since the power is coming from the Supreme Lord, it should be employed in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But here, Indrajit is using it for all the wrong reasons. Right? So Indrajit is using it to actually propagandize his own power, to actually go against Dharma. So of course, there may be small victories in such a case, but ultimately the triumph is for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna. So now Hanumanji has got an opportunity to serve Rama and Lakshmana as they were lying unconscious. He went to the Trikuta mountain and he's brought those 4 herbs. He could not find those herbs, but since he had the power and the strength to carry the entire mountain, what did he do? He brought the entire mountain and brought it to Jambavan, who actually picked out those herbs. And now they're going to administer those herbs to Rama and Lakshmana. So let's continue. Taking a handful of the herbs from Vibhishana, Hanuman went quickly to Rama and Lakshmana. Both he and Vibhishana looked anxiously at the 2 princes, and who appeared like the sun and the moon fallen to earth. They were hardly breathing. Hanuman dropped to his knees by their side. Was he in time to save them? Would the herbs work? His hands shook as he placed a bunch of herbs under Rama's nostrils. For some time, Rama showed no signs of movement. Hanuman was beside himself with anxiety. Then slowly the prince began to stir. He breathed deeply, inhaled the celestial fragrance. Gradually his eyes opened. He looked up at Hanuman and smiled. The monkey breathed a deep sigh of relief. Quickly he began administering the herbs to Lakshman. Slowly he too returned to consciousness. They felt as if they had awakened from a restful night of sleep. Soon the monkey army stood again in their millions, ready and eager to fight. So in this way, because of the herbs brought by Hanumanji, see, the Lord does not require any help from anybody. However, the Lord always gives opportunities to his devotees to serve him, because that is what pleases the devotees. So in this way, we see Rama and Lakshmana were saved by the Sanjeevani booty that was brought by Hanumanji. This is giving pleasure to Hanumanji because he got the opportunity to serve, and also Rama and Lakshmana were grateful to Hanuman for having brought this herb, which made them come back to consciousness. Okay, now the army is ready again, and now again they're going to fight the battle with Ravana. Now on another day, again this war is continuing. Okay, Navkishori Mataji, you want to read? Hare Krishna. Okay, Navkishori Mataji, you want to read? Let me know. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, sure. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Thank you,
Yes,
Mataji.
go ahead. They felt as if.
Then slowly, can I read from there, Mataji?
They felt as if they had awakened from a restful night of sleep from there.
Okay, they felt as if they had awakened from a restful night of sleep. See, soon the monkey army stood again in their millions, ready and eager for the fight. The night was drawing to close, and Sugriva, after consulting with Rama and Lakshmana, decided to attack Lanka before the Rakshasas were aware of the situation. Rama and Lakshmana had somehow risen up and attacked the city. The demon king was amazed. He immediately issued orders for the Rakshasa chiefs to march out. Tens of thousands of demons, clad in golden armor, came onto the city streets. They were led by Kumbha and Nikumbha, Kumbhakarna's two powerful sons. Angada saw his two uncles laid low by Kumbha, and he dashed across to challenge the Rakshasas. Kumbha laughed. He making an S-like sound, which reverberated all over the battlefield. His eyes blazed like two red fires, and he stood in his chariot looking like death personified. As Angada ran towards him, Kumbha shot dozens of deadly arrows, which penetrated the monkey's body. Not shaken, Angada sent a shower of rocks and trees at the demon. Kumbha easily smashed the missiles with his arrows, laughing all the while. Kumbha then fired arrows which hit Angada on the forehead and made a stream of blood flow down the monkey's face, pressing his wounds with one hand. Angada seized hold of a massive tree with the other. He revealed around and tossed the tree at the Rakshasas. It flew with the speed of the wind. Kumbha dropped to one knee and instantly shot seven steel arrows. With a slide, the flying trees to pieces. Without pausing for a moment, Kumbha released seven more shafts, which struck Angada on the chest and sent him reeling. Kumbha was flattered by Sugriva, and his martial enthusiasm increased like a fire fed with oil. Without a word, he leapt down from his chariot and rushed towards the monkey, who stood with his arms overstretched. The two heroes clasped each other and grappled together. The earth shook with their heavy steps. Sugriva leant backwards and lifted the demon above his head. Spinning around, he tossed Kumbha and lifted the demon above his head. Spinning around, he tossed Kumbha into the sea. The Rakshasa sank down to the seabed, but soon swam upwards again. Suddenly, emerging from the ocean, the demon flew up and struck Sugriva on the chest with his fist, with a blow that sounded like a peal of thunder and which emitted by a brilliant flash. Sugriva did not budge and at once clenched his own fist, which was as hard as adamant. He swung around and brought his fist down upon Kumbha's breast like one planet striking another. The demon's heart was split by the blow, and he fell dead to the ground as Mars would drop from the heaven. Nikumba saw his brother slain and his anger fled. He took up his terrific mace and gazed at Sugriva as if about to consume him with his wrath. Hanuman came forward and stood directly before the Rakshasa. He pulled back his arms and bade his massive chest strike me at once. O demon, he challenged. With all his strength, Nikumba brought down the mace upon Hanuman's chest, taking hold. Of Hanuman, Nikumba ran towards Lanka. The monkey struck Nikumba on the head and disengaged himself from the Rakshasa's grip. He landed on the ground in front of the demon. Hanuman struck Nikumba down and then hurled himself onto the Rakshasa's body. Pressing down all the Nikumba's limb, Hanuman took hold of his snake and twisted it furiously. He tore off the Rakshasa screaming head and hurled it into the ocean. Observing this incredible feat, the Rakshasas army fled pell-mell in all directions. Some rushing into the city, some jumping into the sea, and others flying into the sky. Hanuman raised a great roar of victory, and the monkeys surrounding him shouted the joy.
Haribol.
Chapter
Thank you, Mataji.
11. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji.
Thank you.
So this is very wonderful, isn't it? What is happening here? Rama and Lakshmana were helped by Hanumanji, and they brought Hanumanji brought that Sanjeevani, those four herbs, which brought Rama and Lakshmana back to consciousness. And now again they are waging a war against Lanka. All the Vanara Senas are ready. Angada, Sugriva, and all of them. They're ready. And of course, Hanumanji, they're all ready to fight. And then there is again he sends two of Kumbhakarna, sends Kumbha and Nikumba. And both of them are also defeated by the Vanaras. And now Indrajit again comes. And now Indrajit is going to fight with Lakshmana. So let's see what happens next. Okay, let me share my screen again. We're going to start with chapter number 11. Lakshman battles Indrajit. Okay, Shobha Mataji, you want to read? Yes. Yes, Mataji. Please unmute. Lakshman battles
Hare
Indrajit.
Krishna. Jai Shri Ram. Chapter 11, Lakshman battles Indrajit. In Lanka, Ravana was stunned. Twice he had celebrated his seeming victory and twice he had been forced to think again. He sat brooding in his palace. The monkey army was charmed. They had been virtually wiped out by Indrajit. But suddenly they were back on their feet and fighting again. Now Kumbhakarna's two invincible sons had been killed. Things were becoming desperate. Ravana looked across at Indrajit. This time he must not fail. Ravana spoke to his son, who was as powerful as his father in every way. O heroic prince, these two mortals must die. Although twice defeated by you, they have somehow miraculously escaped death. Now their luck must have run out. You are the conqueror of Indra. What then of two humans? Go forth again, my son. Use any means whatsoever and kill them. Once again, Indrajit went out from Lanka, accompanied by the remaining force of Rakshasas. After gaining worshipping the fire on the battlefield, he stood up and began to barge on his power. The two brothers, human brothers, may be taken as killed. Today I shall secure an
Mataji,
imminent
Haribol.
victory.
Mataji,
Yes,
Mataji,
Haribol.
Mataji, Haribol, please read from the screen, Mataji, because I have just reduced a lot of description of the war. Too many descriptions. So just read. Yeah. Rama declared that the time.
Rama declared that the time of Indrajit's destruction had come. Even if the Rakshasa fled for shelter to the farthest reaches of the universe, he would not escape. Rama raised his bow and looked up to the sky, diving Rama's intentions. Divining, huh? What is that?
Divining, Rama. Divining means understanding.
Okay. In this intentions, Indrajit quickly withdrew from the battlefield. He entered Lanka and considered that tactis, tactic he should use to kill Rama and his brother. Using his prodigious mystic powers, he conjured as illusionary image of Sita, placing this false form on his chariot. He again went out on the battlefield, this time remaining visible in the sky. Hanuman spotted the chariot of Indrajit drawn by its demonic tiger, and he rushed towards it with a mountainous cards in his hand. As he looked up, however, he saw a woman held in the demon's grasp. Although beautiful, she appeared wretched and sorrowful. She was clad in a single garment, unordered, unordered
Unadorned.
with her limbs adorned, with her limbs covered in dust and mud. Gazing at her for a while, Hanuman recognized her as Sita. As the monkey looked on, Indrajit looked out his sword and grabbed Sita by her hair. He began to strike her and she cried out, Rama, oh Rama. Hanuman was seized with agony, and upon seeing this, and hot tears fell from his eyes. He angrily rebuked Indrajit. Oh wicked one, you your act is mean only for your own destruction. Although descended from a Brahmin, Rishi, you are ignorable, mean, and sinful. How can you kill a helpless woman, tore her from home and her husband, torn her from her home and her husband, weak, wretched, and crying for protection? Your own death is close. You shall be destined to a dark and contempt region inhabited by the lowest of creatures. Indrajit laughed, dropping the form of Sita. He grabbed his bow and loosed off 1,000 fierce arrows of Hanuman and other monkeys. He then looked hold of Sita's hair again and replied harshly to Hanuman, Shri, for whom you have all come so far and fought so hard, I will now slay. I shall then make short work of Rama and Lakshmana of as well as you. O monkey, I care not for the immortality of my act, for whatever causes pain to one's enemy must be achieved by any means. Indrajit raised his sword and cut the form of Sita into two parts. Laughing loudly, he called out, of, out to the monkeys, Here is Sita, now killed by me. Your efforts to recover her have all been in vain. Fight on if you must, but all of you will meet the same end as she. The demon rose high into sky, wheeling about in his golden chariot. Hanuman was seized with grief and anger, completely infuriated. He fell upon the Rakshasas in a frenzy. Repeatedly roaring, he consumed the Rakshasas' army like the fire of universe dissolution. He took up the massive rock and hurled it straight at Indrajit's chariot. But the demon rose still high and the rock fell short. It dropped to the earth, crushing hundreds of demons and opening a chasm in the ground. Hanuman was filled with despair, looking the around the monkey army. He shouted to them, Cease fighting. The object of our battle is now impossible to achieve. For Sita lies killed. Let us withdraw and ask Rama what should be done next. The monkey pulled away from the fight and moved back towards Rama and Lakshmana. Seeing this, Indrajit also withdrew, taking the demons with him. He made his way a sanctuary in a cave known as Nikumbila. There he began to perform a ritual for assuring his victory in the battle, worshipping the powerful goddess Kali, a fearful form of the personified material energy. He had he made offering of blood into a sacrifice fire. The demon knew the final battle should be soon be fought. He had been granted a boon by Brahma that once having performed the ritual at Nikumbila, he would remain completely invincible in battle until his enemy was defeated. The time for releasing the boon had arrived. Surrounded by other Rakshasas, Indrajit sat before the fire reciting the sacred mantras. On the battlefield, Hanuman came before Rama and told him the terrible news. Rama at once collapsed to the ground and lay there insensible, like a great tree cut at the root. The monkeys quickly brought cool scented water and sprinkled his face. Vibhishana arrayed. He saw Rama lying in a swoon with his head on Lakshman's lap. All around the monkeys were given over to grief and were lying on the ground shedding tears. Vibhishana was gripped by despondency upon seeing Rama's state. He knelt by Lakshman and asked him what had happened. The prince told him about Sita. Vibhishana, after reflecting for some moments, began to nod slowly. The report of Sita's death is abreast as the drying up of the
Absurd.
ocean.
The report of Sita's
Absurd, yes, absurd. Yes, absurd as the drying up of the ocean. Said. There is no possibility that Ravana would allow the prince to be killed. He is consumed by desire to possess her. Even though he was all appraised by me of the consequences of keeping her, the sinful demon would by no means return her to you. O Rama, you have been tricked by the devious Indrajit. Know that woman killed by him to be mere illusion. There is no doubt in my mind. Rama opened his eyes and looked upon the Vibhishana. The Rakshasas explained that Indrajit must have created the illusion in order to weaken Rama and to buy time. Vibhishana explained to Rama about the boon granted by Rama. There were conditions that if Indrajit was disturbed during the course of the ritual, he would be killed. That was why he had created the illusion of Sita's death. He obviously considered that this would throw Rama and his army into total confusion for long enough. Vibhishana urged Lakshmana on, go on, O valiant one. When Indrajit is killed, Ravana and his army will be finished for sure. Rama stood up and spoke to Vibhishana. What you say is true. O Night Ranger, Indrajit's prowess is sorcery and in battle is formidable. He cannot be dis- discerned even by the gods when he rides on his chariot in the sky. The one must be slain at once. Indrajit at once released dozens of arrows that hissed through the air like serpents. They struck Lakshman and pierced through his armor. The prince began to bleed and spilling his fury. He appeared like a smokeless fire. The two combatants fought furiously, each seeking a quick victory. A vehement and terrible struggle ensued of a long time, in use for a long time. The earth was covered with a mass of arrows that looked like a carpet of sacred kusha grass. The two princes' arrows striking from every part of their bodies, bled profusely, appearing like mountains covered with trees and giving forth shining red oxides. Vomiting blood, Gurjit gasped another growl and immediately released the 100 arrows at Lakshman. Those arrows screamed through at the air, shooting forth fire and red flames. Lakshman remained calm and intercepted the blazing shaft with his own infallible arrows. Indrajit sped innumerable other arrows towards Lakshman, but the prince spared them all. He answered the demon's attack by again severing his chariot head with another crescent-headed shaft. Although deprived of their control, however, Indrajit continues to pull the chariot, rising into the air and describing various circular movements. Lakshman displayed astonishing prowess. He completely covered Indrajit's chariot with arrows and then pierced all of the other demons surrounding the Rakshasas prince. Indrajit again descended and shot 3 arrows which embedded themselves in Lakshman's forehead, making him appear like a three-peaked mountain. Lakshman at once replied with five searing shafts that thudded into Indrajit's head. The two opponents, bleeding profusely from their wounds, looked like a couple of kinchuka tree in full blossom as Indrajit reeled from his attack. Lakshman quickly shot 4 deadly arrows which killed the demon's 4 horses. The Rakshasas kept down from the chariot as he jumped. He hurled a golden lance at Vibhishana's and resembled the bolt of heaven. Lakshman instantly shot 5 arrows at the speeding lance and cut it into pieces. Vibhishana took up his bow and pierced Indrajit in the breast with a number of arrows that struck him with sound like thunder claps. Indrajit bellowed in anger. He took from his quiver a glowing arrow which he had received from Yamaraja. Seeing the Rakshasas fitting the mystic missile to his bow, Lakshman quickly invoked the weapon he had obtained in a dream from Kuvera. The two infuriated combatants pulled back their bowstrings with the divine weapon fitted. Both bow emitted a piercing noise like a pair of cranes. When released, the two weapons collided violently in mid-air and light up the heaven. A great fire appeared in the sky along with billows of smoke. The missile fell to the ground in hundreds of blazing pieces.
Hare
Lakshman
Krishna. Thank you,
invoked the
Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Jai
Dandavat
Shri.
Pranam. So it's very interesting, right? Now the two Maharathis from each of the sides, Lakshmana from this side and Indrajit, right? One who's conquered Indra, who's so much powerful, right? Both of them are on both sides and they are fighting a massive battle, right? One is releasing the astra that he got from Kuera, and what is his name? Indrajit is actually releasing the astra that he received from Yamaraj. So in this way, it's a battle worth witnessing and explained in a very dramatic way in great details by Krishna Dharmadas Prabhu. So let's continue. Now once Indrajit is killed, then what happens? Ravana himself will come for the battle. That's what we are going to see in the next 1 week. I will complete this study and then we start Chaitanya Charitamrita. So quickly, let's go ahead and see what happens in this battle between Indrajit and Lakshmana, who wins, and then what happens next. Karpagoli Mataji, you want to read? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Okay.
Thank you, Mataji.
Lakshman invoked the Varunastra from there.
Yeah, Lakshman invoked the Varnastra, the weapon presided over by the god of waters. Perceiving this, Indrajit countered the weapon with another imbued with the divine energy of Shiva. The Rakshasa then released the Agni Astra, but this was countered by Lakshman with the Suryastra, the missile charged with the immense potency of the sun god. Remaining firm on the battlefield, Indrajit placed a long golden arrow on his bow and began reciting sacred incantations. Darts, maces, swords, axes, hammers, and other weapons flew from his bow by the hundreds. Not disturbed, Lakshman invoked a missile presided over by the wind god and immediately neutralized Indrajit's weapon. The heroic Lakshman concentrated his mind and released the arrow. It screamed towards Indrajit with blinding speed. Before the Rakshasa could make any move to counter the weapon, it severed his head from his shoulders. The handsome head with its jeweled helmet and basiled earrings rolled on the ground, bathed in blood and shining like gold. Ramna's son dropped to the ground with his bow falling like gold. Ramna's son dropped to the ground with his bow falling from his head. All the monkeys and bears, along with the Vishnu, loudly rejoiced in the heavens, and the gods, Gandharva and Rishis, raised out of shout of victory. Their leaders slain. Thank Haribol. Their leader slain. The Rakshasa lost all enthusiasm for fight. Surrounded by Hanuman, Jambu, and Vishnu, Lakshman returned to Rama. After respectfully circumventing him, he stood by Rama's side with bow in hand, even as Indra might stand by the side of Vishnu. Rama smiled, realizing that Lakshman had succeeded in his difficult mission. He looked with affection upon his brother. Vibhishna described how Indrajit had been slain. Rama cheered Lakshman upon hearing this report, and he addressed him with great delight. Well done, Lakshman. You have achieved a great feat today. Without doubt, this has assured our victory. We have cut off Ravana's right arm and his best hope of success in the battle. Now that the merciless and evil-minded Indrajit is killed, we will see the sinful Ravana issuing forth for battle. I shall then dispatch him to death's abode along with all his army. Rama thanked all of the warriors who had accompanied Lakshman. They had fought solidly for 3 days. All of them were badly wounded. Lakshman himself was severely lacerated with arrow wounds, his body covered with blood. He was tormented with pain and breathing heavily. Rama summoned Susheshna, a monkey skilled in healing. He ordered him to treat Lakshman with the others with the celestial remedies. They then rested on the the field of battle, awaiting Ravana's next move. Shall I continue, Mataji? Ravana's
Yeah. So what is happening now? Finally, Indrajit is killed, and everybody is praising Lakshmana for having killed Indrajit. And now, who is the only one left? The only one left is Ravana himself. So let us see how this battle, because Ravana is going to show all of his powers, right? Ravana himself is a 10-headed and got lot of, he's done lot of austerities, got lot of boons from Brahmaji and all of them. So in this way, we'll see now what is happening when Ravana himself comes into the battle. And what is he showing? He's showing his prowess. But no prowess works in front of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ram, isn't it? So let's go ahead. Yes, Mother, you want to continue? Go ahead.
Yes, Mother. Ravana exhibits his powers. The terrified Rakshasas ran to Ravana and informed him of Indrajit's fall. Having close with a great hero, your powerful son has met this end, they reported. The highly glorious Indrajit, after gratifying Lakshman with innumerable arrows, had gone to the next world. Ravana looked at his ministers for some moments in a state of utter dismay. He then fell to the ground in a swoon and remained unconscious for some time. When he recovered, he fell back onto his throne and sat with a downcast face, lamenting loudly, "Oh, my son, where have you gone? You conquered Indra and chased away all the gods. How then have you been overpowered by Lakshman?" The demon thought only of revenge. His eyes spread by nature, glowed with a brilliant red with anger. Tears fell from them like drops of melted. He ground his teeth, making a sound like two mountains being rubbed together. Taking up a long razor-edged sword, which shone like the bright blue sky, he held it so aloft and thundered in fury. Pleasing the self-born creator of all the worlds by rigorous austerities, I received from him an infallible boon. Not even, not even not even the gods, not even the gods and demons combined can kill me in battle. What then of a couple of humans? Bring my arrow, fetch my impenetrable armor. Now today I shall march out and make a short work of Rama and his entire army. Surrounded by his minister, he entered the great hall, afflicted by agony. He sank onto his gem-encrusted throne and sat there, snorting like a furious lion. With folded hands, he addressed the assembly. I now depend fully on all of you. The time to destroy our arrogant enemy has come. Tomorrow I shall march out to kill Rama. First, all of you should go out, weapons held high, and weaken the human prince and his army. I shall soon follow you. The Rakshasa rode in joy. They rose up in a body and rushed out of the hall. Mounting horses, chariots, elephants, and other carriers, he stormed out of the city. Rama decided it was time he demonstrated his own insurmountable powers. He immediately penetrated deep into the ranks of the Rakshasas. He moved like a sword wind, leaving a trail of slaughtered demons in his wake. Rakshasas could hardly look at him. No one could see his movements as he took out the arrows from his weapon of the Gandharvas. Rama made himself appear in a multitude of forms. To the confused Rakshasas, he seemed to be everywhere at once. He saw the curved golden ends of his bow whirled like a firebrand and seeming so completely surround them. His arrow flew from all directions simultaneously. They sliced the Rakshasas into pieces. In less than 2 hours, Rama had exterminated the 200,000 Rakshasas along with 18,000 elephants and 14,000 horses. The Rakshasas were completely rooted, rooted and they fled in panic. Their chariots lay smashed and their arms and weapons littered the ground. With the mangled corpses of Rakshasa and animals laying everywhere, the battlefield appeared ghastly. The surviving Rakshasa rushed back to Lanka, looking back in fear of Rama. Monkeys cheered and surrounded Rama. Having withdrawn his divine weapons, he stood at ease, blazing with splendor. Sugriva, Hanuman, Vibhishna looked in awe at Rama, who said to them, only the glorious Shiva and I can exhibit such ability with celestial missiles.
Hare
As the
Krishna. Thank you,
monkeys
Mataji.
walk. Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So we see here, yatra yogeshwara Krishna, yatra partho dhanurdharaha, tatra rishi vijayo bhutir, dhruva nitir matir mama. That's what Sanjay said, the last verse of Bhagavad Gita. So similarly, here we are seeing that Indrajit put Rama and Lakshmana, into losing their consciousness. And then Hanumanji went and brought those 4 Sanjeevani herbs. And in this way, Rama and Lakshmana got back. So all of these pastimes are simply to let us know how the Lord gives various opportunities to his devotees to serve him. Right? Nothing can harm the Lord. And the Lord, simply by his willing, by his thinking and feeling and willing, can create this entire material universe simply by his glance on Rama Devi. Right? This entire material manifestation is created and is annihilated. Right? Again and again. Right? What is that verse? Aham sarvasya prabho mattah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam Budavava samnvita. Aham sarvasya prabho. So Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, everything is emanate from me. Right? Aham sarvasya prabho mattah sarvam pravartate. Right? I am the source of the material and the spiritual worlds. Everything emanates from me. So the Supreme Lord does not need the help of anybody, but the Lord feels happy if he could employ his devotees to render service to him. Right? So like Rama and Lakshmana, Rama embraced Hanumanji, right, saying that, oh, you brought the Sanjeevani herb and I have now regained my consciousness. But we see here that as Rama is meeting directly with Ravana, right, Ravana is completely lost. And even in the battle between Lakshmana and Indrajit, we see that Lakshmana was clearly more equipped to kill Indrajit, although Indrajit was as powerful as having defeated Indra. Right? But wherever the Lord's benediction is there, wherever dharma is there, that side only will win. Right? There may be small battles which anybody can lose, win and lose. That is just to increase the curiosity of the onlookers and the people who are reading. But we all know that ultimately the entire war is going to go in favor of Lord Ram, who is in the side of dharma. Okay, let's continue reading. I think we've got about 8 minutes more. Okay, so let me read. As the monkeys walked around Rama with folded palms, the gods and the rishis praised him from the skies, and a shower of flowers dropped down. Yeah, and one more thing is very important here. There's also the demigods, Devatas, are also looking for opportunities to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right, so whenever the Lord does any wonderful act, right, then immediately the Devatas shower flowers, Jai Shri Ram, like that. Right? And Krishna also tells in Bhagavad Gita, Yadyad Vibhuti Matsattvam, Shrimad Urjitameva Vatatta Devavagatsatvam Mama Tejo Amsha Sambhavam. So whatever there are wonderful things in this world, whether it be a nice nature, whether it be things that attract us in terms of beauty, in terms of fame, in terms of knowledge, in terms of strength, wealth, knowledge, fame, renunciation, everything, right? Whatever is the best has its origin and is represented by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? Rasovarjam, what is that? Rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. Right? By experiencing a higher taste, by understanding that everything is emanating from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by experiencing that higher taste, param drishtva nivartate, we'll be able to give up all of our lower tastes, right? The Ravana is in this particular situation, right, at the verge of death, only because he had this kama krodha, right? What is the bija, or what is the root of kama krodha lobha moha mada matsarya? The root is situated in lust. That means to want to enjoy independent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, now let's continue. Let me see how many minutes are there for the Zoom meeting. Okay, there's about, I think, 3 minutes. Okay, let's quickly read this section. As the monkeys walked around Rama with folded palms, the gods and rishis praised him from the skies, and a shower of flowers dropped down. Right? In this way, the Devatas are all praising the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Seeing his commanders trembling in fear, Ravana laughed and began to speak. With an endless shower of arrows resembling the rays of the sun, I shall dispatch Rama and Lakshmana to Yamaraj's abode. Right? So the most foolish people only, even at the verge of death, they think that I'll be able to defeat. So this Ravana is although very learned, although a Brahmana, is now behaving like the greatest of fools, right? Then, today I shall avenge my kinsmen and followers. I will wipe out the monkey battalions with waves of weapons surging like a violent ocean. Heads transfixed on arrows will appear on the battlefield like so many lotuses upon golden stalks. Each of my arrows will pierce 100 monkeys. The vultures and jackals will be fully sated with the flesh of my enemies today. Fetch my chariot and weapons. I shall immediately march at the head of my army, right? Vinashakale viparita buddhi. So in this way, Ravana is going to walk onto the road to his imminent death, not realizing the power of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although there are so many instances, all of his sons are dead, right? His own brother Kumbhakarna, so powerful, is also dead. And finally, Indrajit, who defeated Indra, is also dead. And yet, Ravana is still under illusion, right? That's why we have these 4 defects. One is we are under illusion, we have imperfect senses, we are prone to committing mistakes, and we are prone to cheat. Right? These 4 defects, we are always under the control of these 4 defects. And that's the reason, whatever we may plan, whatever, how much ever we may try to subdue the 3 modes of material nature, we always remain entangled in the complexities of material nature. That's what Prabhupada also says. Right? The more we try to exploit the material nature, the more and more we would get entangled into the complexities of this material nature. So simply by reading these wonderful scriptures like Ramayana, Mahabharata, and next Thursday, 21st August, we're going to start Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Right? It's an auspicious day in between Janmashtami and Shri Krishna Janmashtami 16th and Radhashtami 31st. So we'll start Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita with the pleasure of Guru and Gauranga. So this last few stages of the war is giving us important lessons, how we need to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in all situations of life, and that is the best recourse for any situation. ग्रंथराज श्री रामायण की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद श्री गुरुदेव की जय। रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम सीताराम जय सीताराम सीताराम जय सीताराम जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद गुरुदेव गुरुदेव निताय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल। ग्रंथराज श्री रामायण की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद श्री गुरुदेव की जय। Day after tomorrow, Shri Krishna Janmashtami. We are meditating by singing a lot of bhajans. Do join in and sing along for the pleasure of Guru and Gauranga. Jai Shri Ram, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai